Today's topic is what happens when clients don't pay. And I'm sure, put a 1 in the chat if you're a freelancer or you have clients, please. Just curious to know who our audience is, because a lot of people, thrive on client business. There's a lot more people that have to deal with clients, and I'll put, so Corinder, you're going to want to put a 1 in the chat. That's part of the directions. Thank you very much. So, we have a lot of people in this room that thrive off of client business. So there are so many reasons why clients don't pay. And I know that I cannot make the excuses I've heard up. I cannot make them up. Fortunately, it's never been, well, Q, you're not doing your job, or, Q, it's just really tough to work with you, because I bend over backwards for these people. I'm like in different marriages, which is what I've actually, I'll share an article with you, but I mentioned that the type of business that I run is like being in several marriages with these business owners, because it allows me to be accessible to them and be them online. And it's just the next best thing to having them do it themselves. So with that being said, I've had Theo, that's even the wrong term, but okay. Really I've heard, hey, it's Christmas, I can't pay you. Well, so you have to wait. Well, I've been waiting for like 2.5 Christmases, almost 3 Christmases. And yeah, so I said, well, it's Christmas for me too. Yes. I don't know if you care that it's Christmas for me too, but I've also heard there was a massage therapist who said, the energy with me just isn't right. I think if you let me out of my contract, you'll find someone with better energy and you'll have better experience, with the work. And I'm like, that's cool. This is almost a $9,000 contract that doesn't have anything to do with energy. Okay. All right. I don't care about your freaking energy. You signed a contract. Now, I've always had a type of contract. In 2014, when I lost my biggest client, because they just said, we're just going to stop paying you. We decided to go with someone else. We're just going to stop paying you. Now, they do have the money and I can go after them. I didn't have the money to go after them. But after that, I said, the money that I do have, I'm going to invest in getting a contract written properly. So now, like before, it was really that my contract was a proposal, and the proposal would read, what the sort of deliverables are or what to expect in social media, and a signature line. Now it looks like a contract written by a lawyer, and there's no arbitration, none of that stuff. Definitely attorney's fees, litigation, that sort of thing. It's 5 pages. It talks about who owns what content that comes out. It talks about what they can expect out of me as a contractor. Can they tell me where to go, what to do, what to drink, when to do it? No. And while that should be understood, I kind of need that in a contract. The other thing is that the way that I have structured my business is to be like a package deal. So I would equate it to you purchasing a TV and I'm letting you pay for it in installments. So you can't like stop paying in month 5 and say, I'm just going to stop paying in month 5, because you purchased the TV. You still got to pay for that TV. You still got to pay for that package that you purchased. There's no cancellation clause in my contract. Okay. The only time there's a cancellation clause is it's 30 days in writing after the amount has been paid, the balance has been paid. Now, while I've done while I have done this particular thing, it's important to know that how you've structured your revenue model or your cost structure or whatnot, because there could be one tiny thing that gets them to say, well, there's a hole in your contract. Like most people, so most contractors say, I'm going to do the work, and then you're going to pay me. And that's a lot of the times where they miss out. So I've seen instances of people maybe getting 50% up front, or having a startup fee, or getting 100% up front, or getting 100% for the month up front, which is what I was doing.
Okay.
Right. But here's the kicker, especially in social marketing. Social marketing is obviously not regulated. And social marketing also is something where you couldn't even continue working for the business even if you wanted to, because they can remove you as admin. So it's not like I can keep working and I'm going to attempt to collect the debt. Right. And I can't do that because they removed me as admin. So how the heck am I going to do that? And so part of what I'm struggling with, and I haven't told my story yet, or maybe I have, not today, but I have an article that I will post that I have lost $95,000, in unpaid invoices from businesses in Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow.
That's 95,000.
Okay.
Right, since 2014. And these are businesses that are still in business. These are businesses that go to networking events. These are businesses who mentor other small businesses. These are a bunch of hypocrites. Some of them are still on my Facebook page commenting, saying, hey, cute, your hair looks cute. I have a hard time with that. Not gonna lie.
So much for integrity. Okay.
Well, that went out the window a long time ago. It's tough when they're mad too. It's a real thing.
That's crazy.
Sorry, guys. I don't know how to mute everywhere else.
That's crazy.
All right. So Beamer. Okay. Hopefully it's not too loud, but thanks for ruining the recording, dogs. But really it's, you try and not be bitter, but at some point the excuses and, your contracts and your money and your energy, and the reason why we have contracts is to be able to, kind of space out. Okay, I can count on this money. I could pay my bills. I can afford to move into this place or move across the state or country or whatever. That's why we have contracts, and to hold people accountable for their commitments.
Okay.
So how do we hold people accountable for their commitments? I mean, that's a whole etiquette thing, right, Fran? I mean, like we're asking, we want to hold people accountable for what they're saying, but here's the problem. As I was saying before, some attorneys don't want to fight the fight with me, because even though they purchased the TV, so to speak, from me, the business has not been completed. I have not completed technically anything. However, they made the commitment. What I did in month 1 was based on knowing that I had them for several months, to work with them. So that definitely changed my approach. And a commitment should be a commitment, but this is such a new industry, and a lot of social marketers aren't playing this big of a game. A lot of them are doing it on like such a smaller scale. A lot of them are have another job. They're, or they're selling a different product. Maybe like PR people are selling PR, and this is a side gig, right? So I'm not saying I'm the only one playing a big game. I'm just saying that this has been my observation with this. So how in the world can someone either prevent themselves from being a victim to a client not paying up, or how can they bounce back from it? And that's really what I wanted to talk about, because I think a lot of people shine this light on entrepreneurship like it's unicorns and rainbows and eating, sugar coated butterflies. And I'm looking at Fran, and her face is priceless. But it's and we all know that I'm a realist, and so I would rather talk about the things that we can learn from, so that you don't have to learn from it yourself the hard way. And I think that a lot of the time that is what this show is about, or the Biz Chicks.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hopefully
it
we can
is.
share some bot lessons.
What lessons?
Some bot lessons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And experiences that we have paid for.
So one of the things that I discovered is that, I get called in as an SOS. I need marketing, or my marketing person quit on me or didn't do what they said they were going to do. And I need to do stuff now. So they call me. They know I'm not cheap. They know that there's a value for Q. However, they get scared because they really need, they need the marketing, they need the business. And what's happening is that they think that I can work miracles with my magic apple wand of a mouse. And so what happens is that when I give them the price, I think that they feel like they can pay for it maybe a month, maybe or two, but they sign a 12, 18, or 24-month contract with me. They do that. And what happens is, like, who am I to ask them, can you afford me? Let me see your financials. Like, I can't do that. I can't ask you where you bank. I can't ask you if you can really and truly afford me. So go ahead.
The creditors do. When you go to get a loan for a house, they're looking at your.
Well, yeah, but I'm
system.
not asking if I were to, and Nick says get a retainer up front. The people here, so this is the bigger problem, Nick, is that's what I'm trying to say. The people here have a money problem to begin with. That's why they believe they need marketing. But the problem is it's like pain, or like a chronic illness where you've waited so long to treat it. You can't bounce back that quickly. With pain, if you don't break the pain cycle by taking something for the pain, like most people say that come out of surgery, for example, they say, I don't want to take Percocet, Vicodin, whatever. I don't want to do that. I want to wait till it really hurts. The problem is you could probably take one right now and it'll, ease your pain. The other problem is if you wait too long, you're going to have to take 2, 3, or 4 to break that pain cycle. So what I'm saying with that is they could be so far gone, but now we're asking them to be self-aware about their business. They could be so far gone that they don't even know how bad it is. But most people call me in an SOS type situation to come market their business. They really and truly can't afford me. So there's no asking for retainers up front. And frankly, they're hoping that my magic wand gets them the money that they need to continue paying me.
I see.
I
see what the psychology of it is.
Yeah, but they're not willing to be open and honest with themselves or me about their current financial situation. Who's going to say, I'm hiring you for marketing because, I'm really struggling in terms, and I can't pay anything, and I think I'm going to go under. No one really says that.
Okay.
And I see here in the chat we have some.
Mike is talking here from 2 guys.
Yes, we do have some suggestions, but that's what this show is about, are the suggestions that I wrote in a particular article. And while I respect your suggestions, that still gives them the opportunity to hold back. So a lot of what I'm saying is that you need to take more control over the situation, myself included. Relying on the business owner to provide you with information, checklist or not, like, this isn't an expectations management thing at this point. I'm confident that I've done everything in my power to set the appropriate expectations. I mean, the last guy who flaked on 36,000 like a month ago, I sat with him for an hour. I talked about the trials and of dealing with these clients that haven't paid up to 60 something thousand. And then thank you, he just added to that. And he's like, no, we're going to have a long relationship, friendship. He's the one that wanted to sign a 2-year agreement with me. He barely lasted a month. He's like, Q, I can't pay you. But it's also because he has ADD and he can't focus. He hired me to help him focus, but you have to help me help you. Help me help you. So Seymour, yeah, that's a hey Fraser, it's not one client. And frankly, you have to be very delicate about this. You can't just say like, can you afford me? You know what I mean? Like you can't just straight up ask, do you have the money for me? And Walter, I know you've been here the whole time. And so I was explaining that my business and I sell packages like televisions. So when you buy a package, there's no cancellation clause. And so I'm allowing you to pay monthly or until that balance is taken care of over an extended period, 9 to 12 months. Yes. Dan, I'm sure okay, let's take the commercial real estate broker that just flaked on the $36,000. I said to him, this is a problem. This is something that I've experienced. People are flaking on their contracts. I'm trying to do the best that I can, setting expectations. I need help from you so that I can help you. Is this something that you really and truly can afford? He says yes. So short of asking for financials, Dan, I'm still going by their word. That changes, your statement changes nothing compared to what I've been doing, and I'm still in this situation. So why don't I go ahead and get into my suggestions, and hopefully you guys can find some help or some ideas. All right. The first is to keep clear of your company goals. Company goals, missions, and values. Because I feel that in this situation, your values and your mission, everything is sort of questioned or put under the microscope or, just challenged. Because when you're sitting there and you're like, I feel like I have value and I feel like I'm giving you this value, and people are going to make you feel like crap because I'm sorry, they don't want to hold themselves accountable. They don't want to admit that they're just about to screw you over if they haven't already. This is a human problem. So you have to be clear of your understanding of what your company goals, mission, and values are and stand strong with that. The second thing is don't get emotional about your work. I'm very emotional about Blab in a way that, Blab has gotten me to be on camera live, has gotten me to podcast and all of that. So when Blab changed its model, it was really disappointing. But I used to be very emotional about the work that I was doing. When everybody has their opinion, and when some people would say, "Oh, this sucks," your post sucks. How do you not get defensive about that? How do you not get emotional about it? Well, you just don't anymore. You stop it. Stop being emotional about your work. Take pride in it. So I'm not saying don't care, but just don't. And this is coming from someone that works on this every second of the day. Like, you can't let it get to you. I'm a Filipino firecracker. That was a name that was given to me. I am ready to defend until the end. I should have been a lawyer, but really, just try not to get emotional about your work. Now, understand that you might not get paid when you do work, and have a plan for when that happens. So if you are, what could a plan be like? obviously a savings account, maybe a credit card, maybe you have business that's sitting in the back where you need to just complete the transaction. There's so many ways to prepare, to plan. Maybe you have a significant other that you can lean on. Lucky you. Not a lot of people have that, but make sure you do have a plan and understanding of what happens when you don't get paid. Are you going to go see an attorney? Those sort of things. Change your payment strategy when you have issues. So, for example, I used to collect checks. I used to wait for checks in the mail. And then I started doing like QuickBooks, Intuit. So everything was paid via the invoice. Never a credit card swipe, but it was paid via the invoice. That still wasn't enough for me to not become a bill collector every single month. In order, I said, I have so many other things to do. I can't be chasing down money all the time. I'm not a runner. Right? So how do we change how do we change what we're doing? How do we change how we're collecting money? Well, automatic payments. So what you would do is you have to have a credit card authorization form to take those automatic payments out. But you're able to say, look, this is coming out on the 1st, 15th, 20th, whatever, every single month.
Mm-hmm.
And that also helps because just like a contract, you could say, I can count on this. Here's the other problem. In the last 6 months, I've had auto payments that have quote unquote bounced. So they never went through. There was no money.
Oh.
So it's not foolproof, guys. You still need to have a backup. In other businesses, in bigger businesses, you're able to take a back credit card. I'm not gutsy enough to do that yet, but it is possible to have 2 cards on file. I mean, if you can, I think if you can document enough of what's been happening that you can kind of prove that you need 2 forms of payment. Now, I was talking about this previously. Like I told you, I started off using my proposal as my contract. Pay a lawyer to write your contract for your business. The way that my attorney wrote the contract was for things that I ran into about who owns the content. Can I hold an account hostage if they don't pay? I mean, I don't want to have a cancellation clause, so we didn't. It's that simple. So I strongly encourage you to hire a lawyer, and my lawyer is just, he rocks. Understand when to cut your losses to make room for better opportunities. Now, this goes along with the massage therapist who said, oh, the energy is so bad. If you just let me out of my contract, chances are you'll get someone with better energy. I love that one.
That's rich.
I love that one. That's an example of cutting my loss and making room for better opportunities. I understand mind space. I understand when people say, I can't be around negativity. Okay. But there's a difference between negativity and business. And when you are like, it's principle even.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's principle. You made a commitment, an agreement. Why wouldn't I hold you accountable to that? And understand, guys, that when you are making a decision, these decisions will also affect future decisions and future experiences from future customers. It's not that they all talk, but somehow it's like they all talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, for some reason, like if you handled if I handled this particular situation with, you know what, we do have bad energy, I'm just going to let you out of your almost $9,000 bill because I'm a nice person. And I'm not saying that actually. But if I were to let you out of that bill, well, then I'm enabling this person to do that to me and to someone else. And if anyone else gets word of it, they can do that to me. You know, because I can't say, well, I was just doing it to this guy. I can't do that. So you have to be aware that what you're doing can affect your future business. So with that being said, I'm not all about that negative mind space, but I'm willing to take the work of collecting the money and delegating it so my mind space is clear and there's no negativity, but at least someone's still trying to get my money back.
Cancel.
So Walter, right?
Yes, that's wrong.
Walter said this is the strategy I would take. Keep the clients who pay faithfully, and each month, and the clients who don't pay, give them 30 days before canceling them. You know, it's also part of my contract that if you are late, I stop working.
And that makes sense.
Beamer.
Because of the nature of your work, it makes sense. Like if you post
Sorry.
and they haven't paid.
I'm sorry.
I said because of the nature of your work, it makes sense. Why would you post if they haven't paid? Because it's all time sensitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it is.
Not like a dress, you know.
Yeah, no, you definitely. It's also instant. Social media is instant. The process of them not paying to paying is so instant. So it's just setting this expectation like, I'm just going to stop working. And this happened as I had a contract, and it's like, well, they just didn't get to paying for a little while. Well, they thought we were going to restart, that I didn't do anything for that time, and we're going to restart the contract. And so I don't actually have to pay you for the time that I missed the payment. And I'm like, what? I worked. And actually it doesn't matter if I worked or not, because that's just part of the agreement. Like you're paying for that time, no matter if I worked 3 weeks for that day or what. Like that's just part of the agreement. It has to be so clear what it is that they can expect. Now, I don't have any deliverables because I would be shooting myself in the foot that way, right? No deliverables. Like I'm going to get you X amount of followers. That's not something that you do in this particular business. Deliverables are great up to a certain point. I think you should have them around, but you just got to be careful what you're doing. So with that, cut your losses. Yes, Walter, make room for better opportunities, but don't be so reactive. If there's a hard day, you're like, this guy is driving me crazy with a capital K. Great. Don't just fire the client. Don't just get all Donald Trump on these people.
Okay. I need to rein that in.
Well, you need to reflect. Terry, we got to talk. This is marketing therapy.
Terry,
is there something you want to talk about?
I need to do sometimes.
Got it.
You know what I mean? So sometimes I have to call up Fred and say, talk me out of this tree.
Talk out of this tree. So that leads me to my next bullet point, and that is having a strong support system that actually understands your work. Now, Walter, I get that you're full of solutions, and that's fabulous, but it's not foolproof. Giving clients a grace period is not foolproof. The same thing happens after the grace period, during the grace period, before the grace period. So all that's doing is extending that. So if I send you an invoice 15 to 20 days from the time it's due, and there's a grace period and you still haven't paid, I stop working. Like I don't, grace periods, how many times do people take advantage of the grace period? The grace periods are the new due dates. They're not grace periods anymore. So why would that behavior change if the due date just changed? I'm going to leave that there. Having a strong support system that understands your work. I have friends that in this difficult time have said, your business is failing. You need to just quit. You need to go get a job. You know, the word pivot doesn't actually exist in their vocabulary. You know, or what can we do? What can you sell? What can you change? It doesn't exist in their head. And it's hard to, it's really hard to have these friends that you want to vent to, like, I'm having these concerns about my business, and they don't even get it. Like, they understand the dramatic aspects of relationships, but they don't understand the why. Well, why are you getting into this? Why was the website such a pain to sell back to them, or XYZ, right? It is hard, and you need someone who understands you. Walter, that's exactly what I'm saying. They cut your service. I stop working. What's the difference? All right. Next bullet point. Oh, did you say something, Fran?
Nope, I'm just listening.
Next bullet point on the ways, for those of you that just joined us, welcome, and please, guys, share this out as we continue the second half of the Q-tips on how to recover or avoid drowning when a client doesn't pay up. Drowning is the word I have for today. If you have a better word, I am open to hearing it. So be disciplined. And this is something where I don't even know if we need to define discipline. Does anyone want to define discipline? Because I was raised to be disciplined in everything, right? Brushing my hair, washing my face, brushing my teeth, putting my clothes out the night before, I go to school, making sure my backpack is filled before the day, before the school day, making sure that I had lunch in the fridge for tomorrow, making sure I did my homework when I would come home from school before playing or dancing or whatever it was. I was disciplined to, recite these Bible verses and speeches because my mom wanted me to be in public speaking. Imagine that. Hello, everyone. So, there's discipline everywhere. And Terry, what do you think you're the most disciplined about? Like, what are you very disciplined in?
Oh, let me think about this. I think I'm very disciplined in my morning routine.
Okay.
I know when I start out the morning by going to prayer, then from there to the gym, from there to my office. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I know that there are certain things that are non-negotiable. So I consider those things the areas in which I am disciplined. So I have a routine, and it's what I do whether anyone's looking or not.
Well, what about you, Fran, in business? Like, is there something that you're particularly disciplined in when it comes to your business?
Yes.
Okay.
I always ask certain questions to know what I'm working with on a particular client.
Same here.
Wait, repeat that, please.
I always ask certain questions to know what I'm working with any client.
Okay.
Always.
Perfect. That is a good habit. Discipline. So I find that coming from a family, and it's a cultural, I'm going to call it an issue, a cultural issue to be very disciplined about everything, right? To the point where it almost loses its, I don't know, importance, right? Because if you're just always, okay, I'm disciplined in everything. Well, maybe I'm just trying to be really good at everything, right? What is the difference, right? Being really good, being disciplined. Does discipline lead to being really good? And then do you still need the discipline? I mean, I could do a show on this whole word. The difference is that you have to first identify what it is that you need to do, what it is, what's going to help you solve your problems. And then you need to be disciplined and carry those through no matter what. No matter what. So I have things I got to do every single day, but I'm living a life of migraines every 5 seconds. So I have to make sure that if I go lie down, I still need to be disciplined enough that, like, if it doesn't go away or it's not manageable, I still need to sit in front of the camera or in front of the computer and do whatever it is that I need to do. Because if not, there's going to be some bigger consequences to this migraine. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
So is that the same as keeping a routine, or is that different?
The routine can be a product of the discipline. So in order, so you have your plan, and if you want to say, okay, if you want to be disciplined, well, then you're gonna have to create a routine so that you continue doing the same thing over and over again.
The plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gotcha. And that therein lies the discipline, the showing up and executing.
Yeah. See, a lot of people have problems doing the same thing over and over again. They feel like it's boring. I actually don't know that. She's just raising her hand. But, that's why I'm very careful to say the word routine or, the same thing over and over again. I mean, just there's ways to spice it up. If you look at it as that every time, if you make it a competition against yourself, that every time you do that thing, that you're going to get better or you're going to improve. And what does that look like? I guarantee you your growth will be so much greater because you're not doing the same thing. All right.
That's very good.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't like doing the same thing over and over.
And neither do I. But it keeps the fire going, and no friend required. Right? Even though I said you need a friend earlier, just for support, but not. I mean, you can also do it with other people, right? If you're business partners, you can kind of compete and get each other better.
That's good.
You just made me think of like a disciplined product I can create. All right. Keep a balance of physical and mental health.
Okay.
Physical and mental health. If you sit in this chair in front of the computer and you don't use eye drops, you don't blink a few times, you don't stand up, you don't walk, you don't eat, you don't rest, everything is affected. And at the end of the day, it's going to be the money that comes in and the quality of your work. And it could mean your entire business. It's kind of like if you can't drive when you're sleepy or drive when you're drunk, you shouldn't do those things while you're working. Just thought. But it's the mental health too. So I tend to be overstimulated because we're always on social doing different things. I mean, come on, I have Facebook Live, Fire Talk, and Blab at the same time. Got another show later on tonight, just like this. And how do I keep my mind sane? Well, the problem is that if I say, okay, this was a lot, I'm going to go sit down for a second. Well, my thoughts are super loud. So I actually can't rely on myself for that mental health component. I got to go find conversation, another Blab or another something that's making noise that won't suck the life out of me. Maybe mindless tea or something like that. but you have to make sure it's a muscle. All of, just like your physical health is a muscle, your mental health is a muscle, and being able to switch back and forth. I'm not good at relaxing. I really am not. I actually don't know how, really. So to be able to switch back and forth, it's a skill. Next, owning your business is hard work. I don't even think I need to go into that. Double down on your best skills and delegate the rest.
I like that.
Don't spend your time on things that you don't actually know how to do and that are very difficult to figure out. So the other option to not delegating is to adjust what it is that you're doing. So I had a website that needed to be built. I had it on a Divi theme, but then the theme was so confusing. So I needed to get the website done, and instead of delegating it, because I still need to provide the content to the web developer. So I said, I still have to be involved. If I delegated it, it doesn't do anything. So what I did is I just changed the format of things, and it allowed me to finish the website. So thank you. I have my own store and everything on qthebrand.com, but at the same time, it's still a work in progress. So I have to have this, what is the word I just had? Discipline to keep it updated and keep even driving traffic to it. Because if I don't, it's just this thing. It's collecting dust. Okay. Cold calling never hurt anyone. Right? I mean, if you're lacking clients, you could either A, be lacking clients. You could be B, dealing with the wrong client, or C, if you want to make some changes and in the clients that you're targeting, and you just don't want to deal with who you have been. If you didn't cold call before, cold calling now is going to give you a different type of client or audience or anything like that. So you have to change the way that you are doing things, and the results should theoretically change as well, for the better, hopefully. Know who your clients should be on that note. You know, because if you don't know who your clients are and you're like looking for them, cold calling people or using the internet, you know, that's going to be really hard. So also recognize the clients that are causing you trouble. Like, what is it about them? Are there any similarities? You know, it's so hard. Hey, Bobby, it's so hard with the, I don't know, we need to make better contact, get in contact with the clients or potential clients, because there are the trolls and there are the fakes. Just as much as you get fake calls, you could get the people on the other end being fake. And so you need to make sure you know exactly who your client is. When I've done proposals, business proposals for companies, identifying who their clients are, we actually put names to them. You know, Mark the marketing manager, or, you know, I forgot some of the crazy names that we put, but, you know, what does Mark look like? Well, he looks like a hipster, and he has a little dog, and he, you know, is very vibrant and likes to talk to people, and, you know, those types of things. Like, you really need to know that. Maybe you don't need to do the entire business marketing plan, but you need to know who your customers should be, and are, for that matter. If you have any current paying customers, well, who are those people, and why the heck did they stick around?
Yeah.
Building relationships create a more powerful network. So this right here, these two ladies and me, we're creating a more powerful network doing what we're doing. And so there's, you know, we could be in competition, but we don't feel that way. We never talk about it that way. We're sharing things with each other, you know, best practices, apps, things like that. So there's more than enough business to go around. There are tons of clients that I do not want in several industries, or wouldn't know how to service. All right. So, you know, it's just, why not use these relationships and benefit from them, and vice versa. And the last Q-tip I have for you as we hit the hour mark is never stop selling. Never stop selling. And there will be a show can't remember when we said it was going to be, Fran, the ABCs.
2 weeks from now.
Okay, so 2 weeks from now, we have this marketing therapy show will be Know Your ABCs. Does anyone know what the ABC stands for in terms of sales?
I'm going to give the audience a chance to answer.
Fran's like, I'm ready. Fran has all the answers.
Yeah, I was that kid in class.
Know your ABCs. Nobody? Nobody knows what ABC. No, not for Sesame Street.
This is Sales 101.
Yeah. But it really but most people no, in reference to sales, Terry, what does ABC mean? And what was it going to say? I forgot. Yeah, it's been really. Oh, what I wanted to say is that people look at social media, and I've said this before on the show, they look at social media as a place where they don't have to sell, or social media content creation is in place of selling. But in order to really be effective, you have to be coming from a place of, understanding of social media, of a stance on things, and a little bit of, I don't know, oomph or push or something. And in a way that you could possibly convince people. Because I mean, if not, you're just like a message board. If not, you're just like a newsletter and someone else who's just posting crap they have to read online. I mean, there's still so much that we can do, and sales is super important. All right. So with that, I'm going. Okay. All right, so guys, here is this article, and you can read it later. This is the article that was written about me in the Phoenix Business Journal. Is it gonna? Of course not. It was written about me in the Phoenix Business Journal about this particular topic. It discusses my tips, as well as some commentary from my attorney. And what's interesting is I have played such a huge role, I believe, and from what I've heard, in Phoenix. And so even though I say these people owe me money, even my mentors are like, we get it, but we didn't get to the extent, or, it just is different when the Business Journal writes about it. So now I have this credibility. Now I have even my attorney coming in, like, let's get you paid. Let's find a way, and let's get you business. Let's do something. And now people want to act. And so when this doesn't, I mean, I'm fortunate to have a lot of media contacts that I can say, like, can you please just write this for me? But not everyone does. And so there are other ways to leverage the particular information. And you just have to get in touch with someone who can help you on that. Does anybody have any questions, thoughts, opinions, concerns? Oh, I didn't hit enter. Attorneys aren't always the best first step. Did I say that out loud? I don't believe I said attorneys are the first step.
You didn't.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I can't. Apparently there's a character, max character count.
I don't know.
On Fire Talk. I can't share this link. Okay. It's the link on Blab. So I've done everything by the book on this, and so it's it's weird, or it's not really cool that these businesses don't take me more seriously, because I could start doing rip-off reports about all of them. Right? Let's get that taken to, like, field number 1 on Google. I mean, and it's legitimate. It's not a lie. Do I want to be that person? Not really. But at what point am I going to say, I have devoted so much time and energy into caring for my city and the people within it, and this is the thanks I get? So I've learned my lessons. I must be more disciplined. I must have more direction for myself, and hopefully I don't have to go through this again. Yeah. And I hope that nobody has to go through it at all.
Yeah, I think we've learned everyone should take something away, which is go and check out their procedures for handling and collecting money. Mm-hmm. And then put them into place and get an attorney. Do what you said here.
Yeah.
Right.
And my attorney, I'm so blessed. Ellis, great to see you. He, he said he's not about the money. I mean, of course that helps, but he's not like, he learned from a mentor that said, your power's for good, essentially. There's no need to, get the little guys to just lose everything for that one consultation. And nope. So he's been a great business attorney. So yeah, no questions. Anybody? Thoughts, concerns, opinions?
Got some things to do.
Yep.
So I always ask everyone, what's the one thing that they'll take away from today's broadcast?
Did you guys hear Fran on Fire Talk? Or Facebook Live? Fran is asking, what is the one or more things that you have learned and will take away from today's broadcast?
And
Ellis,
do it.
I'm going to need an answer. Just kidding. You get a pass. This is a test. Look at this particular article, Ellis. I don't know if you've seen the article that's pinned onto the box, and we can talk about that offline. This was more about the tips and other people, and I don't want it to be about this particular issue. But I am a helpful resource if anyone needs to know, like, where should I go next? Do I need an attorney? Do I not? Do I just need to stop running my mouth on the internet?
Yes.
What should I do? Yes, that is what I can do for you. So that's all I have. If you need to access those tips again, you can click on that Phoenix Business Journal link, save it, and all the tips are there. You can also find it on cuethebrand.com under media and media mentions. I believe that is media mentions.
This was good.
Yes. I'm glad. Thank you, Terry. So thank you everyone for watching and for listening, and I appreciate all the engagement. It's been fun. I always love it. And next week, do you remember what we're talking about next week, Fran?
Yes, I do. Let me ask a question.
Okay.
The people who are watching, are you doing your new show?
Yes.
Okay,
So-
talk about that.
The news, for those of you that don't know, I am also the host of Cue the News, which is a, I guess, daily news show, only Monday through Friday, though, which is bringing conversations to the headlines and also giving you the headlines from a voice you can trust using the power of live streaming. So for many of those that have gotten rid of their cable, or they don't want to sort through all the articles online, or they don't feel like, they think that like a lot of it is bias or negative. I invite you to come watch Cue the News this week. It's just recently in its second season. This is the third week into the second season, trying to kind of work out the kinks. But this week it is Monday through Friday, and it will be on Blab, Fire Talk, and Facebook Live. And let me see if I can grab the link. But yes, you can always search for my name. Apparently the Blab search is working. Fire Talk, firetalk.com/Cue the Brand. And if you go to cuethebrand.com, the the video that's like halfway down the page will be the live YouTube stream. So I would really love to get your opinions throughout the show, but there's no real way for me to have you chat on my website yet. So if you want to engage in the conversation, you do have to jump on one of the platforms: Facebook Live, Blab, Fire Talk, and even YouTube Live. That is a possibility. Okay, thank you. All right, here is the Blab link. So yes, today, and then like I said, I'm still trying to figure out the times and such, but today will be 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. 3. And every other day this week will be 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. And I will put if you go to the recommended shows on Fire Talk, or the sponsored, or not sponsored, featured events.
I think that's what they're called.
Yeah, Cue the News is there. So, but this is the Fire Talk link to Cue the News.
You should be able to put that here in the chat too, right?
Yeah. I'm just trying to set. One. All right. I would love to have you all there, given that there's a lot that's happened this weekend. So there's a lot to talk about. We're bringing conversations to the headlines. Welcome, Bill.
Cool.
And Bobby Shadow. Anything else?
I'm good. This was very informative.
Glad to hear it, as always. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us. My name is Q. You can find me everywhere at Cue the Brand, and I am always thrilled to work with these biz chicks, Terry and Fran. So thank you all again, and have a great day.
Thank you.
You're on mute, Terry.
I just said have a good one.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.